Hello neighbors, it's Brad here from eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at installing the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver on a 2025 Mazda CX-70. Now this is what your hitch is going to look like when it's installed on your Mazda, and this is a really nice option because it's a hidden cross tube, meaning the only thing that you're going to see is going to be your 2" by 2" receiver tube opening as well as your safety chain loops. And with this size receiver, this is going to be a great option for a ton of different options of bike racks, cargo carriers, or even a ball mount. It's kind of the standard size, so when you're picking those out, you'll be able to find a ton of different things to work with this. Now, all of those accessories are going to stay in place with a 5/8 pin and clip. This is not included with the hitch, but will be required to keep those accessories in place. So when searching for those accessories, see if they come with a pin and clip, and if they don't, you can get a pin and clip here at eTrailer, as well as a locking version. That way, if you plan on leaving those accessories on, you can lock that in place, and it'll be a good deterrent for anyone just walking by and taking your things. Our safety chain loops are nice and accessible and easy to hook up. A standard S-hook or even a larger clevis style is going to work out fine on here. And speaking of towing, you're going to want to adhere to the weight capacities not only of the hitch, but also what the vehicle is capable of towing. So check your vehicle's owner's manual and check those numbers for towing, and then compare those with the hitch numbers, which this one's rated pretty well. Your gross trailer weight rating is going to be 5,000 pounds, which is the weight of the trailer plus the accessories loaded onto it. Your tongue weight rating, which is the downward pressure on the inside of the receiver tube opening, that really accounts for your suspended accessories like cargo carriers or bike racks, is 500 pounds. And that's going to allow you to do a 4-bike rack loaded up or a cargo carrier loaded up on vacation. So that's a really good rating for that. Now, if you needed a few extra bump up numbers or you're towing a fairly heavy trailer, you can put a weight distribution hitch on here, and that's going to bump the numbers up slightly. You're going to get a 5,500 pounds for your gross trailer weight rating, and your tongue weight will go up 50 pounds, making it 550. Now, some accessories like cargo carriers and bike racks can stow in a vertical position, and to make sure that it works on here, measuring from the center of the hitch pin hole to the furthest point of the fascia, it's about 3 inches. So I really don't worry too much that you're going to have any issues with it not being able to fold up or hitting your fascia. Just keep in mind when they're stowed vertically, you're probably not going to be able to open up your rear hatch. It may block your rear camera as well as your license plates, but just something to think about. You can always fold those down if you need access to the hatch. As far as ground clearance goes, top of the receiver tube opening to the ground, we're coming in at about 15 inches. So I don't worry about this bottoming out, but something to keep in mind is when you have accessories loaded on, as you go up an incline, those are going to want to tilt towards the ground. So if you're going over a large bump or an incline, just keep that in mind. But that measurement's really going to be helpful if you are getting a ball mount to tow a trailer, because you can determine the rise or drop necessary. So taking that measurement, you can get your trailer set up on level ground, measure from the ground to the top of the coupler, take that measurement and compare it with our ground clearance, and then you can figure out the rise or drop necessary. Now when it comes to the installation of this hitch, it's not actually that hard to do. It's really just going to be 4 bolts that go into weld nuts that are already on the frame. You are going to be removing a few plastic pieces, and Mazda has some interesting ways to attach those. So they're a little bit tricky to get out, but beyond that, it's pretty simple. The hitch is rather long on the rails of the frame, so I would recommend having an extra set of hands to be able to get this in place, and you're also going to need a torque wrench. I'm going to walk you through step by step to get this hitch installed, but you know, if you watch the entire video and decide maybe this isn't something you want to tackle, maybe you don't have the place, the time, the tools, or even the want to do it, don't let that hinder you from getting a hitch and using it on your adventures. You can find someone close to you by using our dealer locator. You'll simply put in your zip code and you'll find shops near you that can get this installed for you. For you DIYers, stick around and I'll walk you through this. And once you do have it installed, let us know how you're using it. Are you towing some jet skis? Are you doing some lawn work with it? Or are you using a bike rack? Send us pictures of your Mazda in action with your hitch. We'd love to see neighbors using products out in the wild. Now to begin our installation, we're going to be removing a few plastic push pins as well as our hitch door. So this is going to be the spot where eventually our receiver will drop through, which is really nice. We're not going to have to do any trimming to get our hitch installed. So there's going to be a decent amount of plastic push pins, and we will not be reinstalling the hitch door, so it's kind of up to you to what you want to do with that. But to get plastic push pins removed, trim panel tool works really well, or a flathead screwdriver. And you'll see a small notch on each of these that you should be able to get that kind of pried in there. And if you can get that center portion popped down, generally you can get the whole thing to come out. And then to get the hitch door out, you'll see these tabs. You just kind of slide this back, it looks like. And there's an opening that looks like that. So again, we are not going to be reinstalling this. So take your time if you want to salvage it, but if you do break the tabs, don't be surprised. Now while pulling this off, I realized that these have clips that go into the side. They're going to be a little bit difficult to gain access to until we get some of the rest of them off. So unfortunately ours cracked, but again, we're not going to be reusing this. This is not going to go back on, nor can it with the hitch. So I'm going to go through and get the plastic push pins that are attached to this bracket removed, and then we should be able to see those clips a little bit better. Now, where those tabs on the door are located, you're going to have these clips, and you want to push down on this and then slide this back. That's what kind of wedges that in place. And once you get that popped out, you should be able to pull that panel down and away. So now we're going to be focusing on this rear fascia bracket, I guess you'd call it. So looking up, we have a 10mm screw. And then there's also these plastic plugs. These ones are kind of tricky sometimes. A pair of pliers normally will get these to pop out. So we'll get these removed on both sides. That way we can get this support taken down. And I've dealt with these before on Mazdas, and I'm going to tell you, they generally are not very easy to get out. And a twist and pull method is ideal. I already have the other side loose, so I can do that, but ours broke right there. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to just get the rest of this taken down so we can remove this. Now we're gonna go to the frame rail, and we're on our passenger side here, and right above the rear cross member, you're gonna find that there's gonna be a sticker. So we're gonna wanna remove that because that's covering up our weld nut, which luckily for us, they have these here. That'll keep any rust from really building up in there. And you should be able to pry it off with your fingers. If not, you can just take a screwdriver and just kind of jam it through the center, and then we'll get the sticker removed. So this is where the front legs of our hitch are going to be bolting up. So clear that out, and then as you head towards the rear of the vehicle, there'll be another. So we'll get this taken down. And we'll do the same thing on the driver's side. There is a bracket that we need to lower to gain access or make room for our hitch to slide up. And that bracket that we'll be taking down, you'll see that the hitch is going to have to slide through here. So there's going to be some 10mm that we're going to remove. We got the 2 bolts taken out. Now we're going to get 2 nuts taken off. So we have this one here. Now, this is a pretty unique design on the hitch, and this long metal through shipping or just manufacturer tolerances, it can cause it to be slightly out of, squared up. So we want to make sure that this is going to be lined up. That way we can get this easily installed. And the best way to do that is measuring from end to end. The max that we're looking for is 45, and the minimum is 44 5/8, and we are right on the nose of 44 5/8. So if yours is out of that tolerance, using a vise, or really you could probably just kind of put this on end and bend it, but try to get it as dialed in as possible and get that measurement proper. At this point, we're going to grab our hardware and an extra set of hands so we can raise our hitch up. So what I recommend doing, I got Scott here to help me, but get your hardware set up. At least 1 bolt with a conical tooth washer set up with the teeth in the same orientation as this. And as we raise this up, we're going to try to get at least 1 started, ideally the closer one, and that way it'll make it easier to get the other hardware started. So on the driver's side where that bracket lowered down, we're going to want to slide that up and make sure that it's clearing. So it's going to get a little bit tight here on the fascia side, but if we can slide this up, we should be able to get that clearance to be able to get the rest of the hitch to go up. So once we have this kind of slid into place, the hitch is going to want to go into the fascia. So just make sure there's that bracket there, that we're kind of moving that out of the way. And that's going to allow us to get this lined up and get that bolt started. Having the bolts started on each side will support the hitch, and then we can get our back bolt threaded in. You may need to move the hitch around to get that hole to align, but once we get this started, we'll just repeat on the other side. Now, on the back, or the most forward holes here, don't be surprised that these are slightly at an upward angle. So I was trying to get it squared up to thread them on, but you really actually end up going a little bit crooked. So just something to help you out as you're getting these started. With all the hardware started, we're going to snug these down, and then we'll come back with our torque wrench. So no need to get too crazy here. 7/8 socket is going to be what we use to get this snug down. Now I have them snug down. I'm going to use my torque wrench to torque them properly, and this is really going to be important with weld nuts because you don't want to over tighten it. It can really put stress on that hardware, but we also want it tight enough, obviously, to be able to use our hitch safely. So a torque wrench is really going to get that dialed in for us. And if you need a torque wrench, we do have them available here at eTrailer, but for 4 bolts, you can go to an auto parts store and rent one for free. And torque settings are going to be found in the instruction manual. With those all torqued down, we need to get that bracket put back in place with the 10mm bolts and nuts, and then we can get our fascia support bracket put in just in the reverse order that we took it off, and get our plastic push pins in place. Now for our fascia support, if you struggled with those plastic clips and they broke on you, I'm really not too concerned. You still have that 10mm bolt, and it's very, very solid. So don't worry if those clips aren't going back or they're too destroyed to be able to do that. I think you can omit it and it shouldn't be a problem. Beyond that, that's going to do it for the installation of our Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver on a 2025 Mazda CX-70.